Good morning, friends. We have seen in our last class the impedance relay, correct? So we have different types of distance relay, out of which first one we saw impedance relay, and we saw that ZR is, if ZR is less than ZZ, the relay will trip. Okay, and we had seen the characteristics also. Okay, and we had also seen beam balanced beam type relay. So here in balanced beam type relay, it will operate instantaneously if it is within that zone or within that specified distance. So if the specified distance is point B, okay, like this, up to there it will operate instantly, and after that, okay, after the point B, for that distance it does not operate. Okay, so it will not take any time, it will operate instantaneously, and after that it doesn't operate at all. Okay, so what was the conclusion? This was also called as definite distance type impedance relay, because it operates instantaneously for faults up to set value of distance. Okay, next topic what we are going to learn is effect of arc resistance. Effect of arc resistance. Okay, effect of arc resistance. So here we have taken again the same diagram. Okay, the transmission line from bus A to bus B, and we have implemented the same distance relay. Okay, we are going to see some of the problems here actually. Okay, problems, these are the problems or limitations of distance relay, for which we will have to implement Moore relay and reactance relay. So what are the disadvantages of a impedance relay? We have some advantages in Moore relay and reactance relay. So why we are using them and why we are not only using this impedance relay, we'll try to understand. So in impedance relay there are some problems like effect of arc resistance. First problem what we are going to see is effect of arc resistance. And with this diagram, okay, this is what we have already seen. Okay, so this is the Z. Okay, so this radius gives the yes, tell me, radius gives the, yes, you have to think what is this radius corresponds to. This radius tells that for what distance, okay, the relay will operate. So up to here, this is the point B. Okay, this is the point B. Up to there it will operate, and after that it will restrain. Restrain means it is just like an opposing force, it will not operate. Next, this is an arcing fault. Okay, for example, see, arcing fault means, for example, line to ground, or arcing will happen between two lines. Okay, so arc will have its own resistance. Okay, see, arcing fault will have its own resistance. Now if it is a line to ground fault, when it goes to ground, okay, it will not have an less resistance path. See, most of the fault to ground is what? Insulation failure. Yes, insulation failing means what? It will pass through that insulator, so insulator will have some resistance, so current will be having some resistance, the current flowing will having some resistance. So that resistance here we will denote it by, okay, we'll denote it by arc resistance. So let me take a better color, bright color. Okay, so this is arc resistance, so I'll call it as R arc. Okay, so this is arc resistance. Now this entire line will shift. Do you agree? Do you agree? This entire line will shift here because the resistance is not zero here. Okay, the resistance is already added for the fault. That extra resistance is been added. Say 3-phase fault, there is no resistance. This was for 3-phase fault, okay, or in fault generic. But here, whenever fault occurs, okay, there will be some arc resistance. This was an ideal case, but this is a practical case. So that extra resistance will be added, so this will be shifted, and of course the impedance will be the same. So now this is what, okay, this is the R arc, okay, the same R arc is here. Fine. Now see, from this point to this point it was the reach. Now what is the reach? From this point to this point, correct? So reach is only up to here. So it means what? Effectively, actually it had to go from point A to point B, okay, from point A to point B it had to reach, but now it is reaching only up to this point AC, okay, point AC. So let me call this reach as R. So what is CR now? What is CR? It is R arc, which is nothing but arc resistance. Now what is percentage, okay, under reach? See, there is called as something under reach, because it had to reach up to B, but it is under reaching there. So actually you are giving protection only up to this, okay. So point R, if you put it on the actual length was AB, okay, it was designed, this relay was designed to protect AB length, but now due to arc resistance it is possible to reach only AC. So what is under reach? BC, okay. So percentage means, okay, BC by AC. So AC is the actual total length, but this much is the short. So this is the, okay, the short into 100. So of course into 100, because it is percentage. So this is your formula. So what is this arc resistance now? It is arc resistance of fault, okay. Now so what is the limitation here? Okay, due to arc resistance, okay, of fault, the range, okay, the range of relay will decrease, okay. Now we will see directionality. Now we shall see directionality problem. It is actually a problem, okay. So here, so the relay might be somewhere in between the transmission line, correct? This case is obviously there, because here one relay, here one relay, here one relay. So I have taken the relay which is in the middle. Now current in an AC transmission line will flow in both the direction, okay, it will flow in both the direction, you know it. And we had taken only from point A to point B, yes. Now it may have so happen that for opposite current, okay, if negative current means what? V by I is negative, it means what? Z is also negative. So Z can go in negative direction also, yes, yes or no? So this is X, so this is minus X, and minus R is minus Z, okay. So minus Z, so it will reach this area also. If it reaches this area, see, you can see here it is operating in all the 4 quadrants. So for this transmission line, it is operating it in forward faults and reverse faults also. So this is forward fault and this is reverse fault, okay. So it will operate for both the direction, but most of the time what we want the relays to be only directional, okay, to operate only for the forward direction, not in the reverse direction. So this relay does not give that directional element. So if you want to have a directional element, okay, we have something called as a directional relay. So that element we can add So you know that in first chapter we have seen its characteristics. It is something like this, okay, directional relay. So if we add that element in this relay, then we can make this only to operate, okay, for positive torques, okay. So we can make only to operate in this direction, that is only for positive torque we can make it to operate. So this element, that this dash line, that is it is got by adding directional element, okay, directional element, and of course this side it will have a negative restraint. So if you want, we can make it to operate in this direction or only in this direction. So this adding this, we can make it to operate only for forward fault, or we can make it to operate only for reverse fault, but not for both. If you don't have this directional element, it will operate for both this, okay, both forward and as well as reverse fault, which is shown here, correct. But we want the relay to be operating only for a particular direction. So that is not there in the distance, that is impedance relay. In impedance relay we don't have directionality. So if we add that element which is there in the directional relay, if we add that element in this impedance relay, we can make it to operate only in one direction. So what is the conclusion? Impedance relay is a norm. Now we shall see the effect of power swing. So there is a large impact of power swing on the relay measurement, okay, or the relay protection. So what is that, we will see. So this is the diagram which we have already seen, okay. So we see an yellow line here, that is the locus of power swing. See what happens during normal condition, okay, except with the problem of directional, okay, and arcing, there is no problem with this, okay. But when there is a power swing will happen only when there is a large outage of a big tie line, or a feeder which is feeding a large, okay, loads, or sometimes a large generator outage, okay. So when there is a large power variation in the power system, you might have studied this in your power system analysis, that is a transient stability or transient analysis, correct. So when there is, okay, a transient analysis, you do it using equal area criterion or something like that. So suppose if your power system is operating, this is maximum power, okay, this is delta, okay. So when it can operate up to maximum, and after that it will go to unstable region. So during power disturbance, large power disturbance, there might be an oscillation, you might have learnt it. So this point may go to up to here and then come back, but it will make a swing, correct. It will make a swing and it will be a slow variation, it will not happen suddenly, it will take its own time. So once there is a large power variation, the power swing will happen, and that will happen till this theta and delta comes to their initial position. So during normal condition, this EA generator will be operating at delta and EB generator will be operating at theta, correct. But when there is a large power variations, these will become unstable. So once they become unstable, your relay will not operate as before. So during stable, delta and theta, they will be operating at, EA will be operating at delta, EB will be operating at theta. During that time, there is this relay has no problem, okay, it will operate normally. But when there is a power swing, power variation, large power variation, there will be a power swing, and that power swing is nothing but variation in delta and theta, right. So they have to come back to their original position, and it will take some time. So that is shown by this locus, okay. This power swing will happen, okay, and it will happen anywhere between this point. So that power swing will be variation on this line. So this is the locus, okay, and it may touch this circle at here or here, okay, here or here. Once it touches, what happens, this relay mal operates, okay. So it is also having its own zone. So this is the zone radius of the distance relay is it can reach up to point B, so it will also have its own zone. So that power swing, when it happens, that swings, okay, and that may come in vicinity of this area. So since this distance relay is having a large area compared to other relay like Moore relay, so it will be having a more effect. And one more thing, when it touches here or here, this relay will maloperate. And there is something called as, okay, center of electrical point, okay, electrical center, what we call, and that is calculated or decided by something like this. Okay, so let me draw here. See, before this relay there is an ZSA. So when there is a power swing, the source impedance of generator A will vary and source impedance of generator B will also vary. So this ZSA is before this line, I mean behind this line, and ZSB is after this transmission line. So behind is represented as this point what I am marking now. So this is ZSA, okay, ZSA, and you can agree on me that after B there is this ZSB after the point B, correct? So it is above its reach, so I will start from here, and of course since it is reactance and this is also reactance, I have drawn along with the reactance line. So this is our reactance, this is our R. Now when these two points coincide like this, so that is our electrical center. So this point is our electrical center. So now what happens, wherever this local comes in locus comes in touch or in contact, so at what point it will come in touch is decided by ZSA and ZSB. Okay, I hope you have got it now. Yes, so this variation due to power swing, it will come in contact with your transmission line impedance. See, this is the impedance line. Yes, impedance line means length AB has some impedance, so this impedance depends on the length. Okay, so this purple line is giving us the length, correct? And your locus of power swing will come in contact, power swing for this magnitude, it will come in contact with, because during power swing the A and AB will also change due to delta and theta is changing. So it will come in contact with this our purple line, which is the okay, impedance line. So that point is found out by this. Okay, just now what I have shown, ZSA and ZSB together they make contact, and that we call it as electrical center. Okay, so as impedance relay occupies more area, it is much vulnerable to maloperation of power swing. Okay, you can note it as impedance relay occupies more area, correct? See, as I said, compared to Moore relay, impedance relay occupies more area. Moore relay is a unidirectional and its circle radius is also very small compared to, so since it covers more area, the variation is large, that is it is more, or it is very much vulnerable to maloperation on power swing. Okay, so let me repeat the things what I have told. Okay, see, when a power system is operating in steady state, all the rotors, okay, or machine angles are constant. Okay, whenever there is a sudden and large change in power in the system, say due to, okay, maybe due to outage of major line, okay, the rotor angle undergoes oscillation till the system reaches new stable state. Yes, the rotor angle undergoes oscillations till it reaches the new stable state. Okay, this phenomenon is called as power swing. So with regarding to power swing, you will learn in the other subject, you might have learned it also. Okay, so during this power swing, the locus of the tip of the impedance seen by the relay slowly passes through the electrical center of the system. So what is that? The locus of the tip of the impedance seen by the relay. Okay, it passes through the electrical center of the system. Okay, it passes through this electrical center of the system. Okay, of a series combination of source impedance behind. Okay, source impedance behind behind the relay location, the transmission impedance. Okay, the transmission impedance and the impedance of the source at the remote end. Okay, so thus at some point during the power swing, okay, some point at the during the power swing, the apparent impedance enter the trip region. So apparent impedance has become what now? Instead of this impedance AB, it has been added with the ZSA, ZSB and ZL. Okay, apparent, which is this point. Okay, enter the trip region. So it enters this is the trip region. Okay, inside it is a trip region. Okay, it enters the trip region of the relay operating characteristics and mal operates the relay. So this is the problem due to power swing. Okay, now we have seen three types of problems, that is one due to arcing, that is arc resistance, and another due to directional feature missing in the impedance relay, and this is effect of power swing. So to overcome the arc impedance, that is arc resistance, to overcome that we go for one more relay called as reactance relay. Okay, to overcome this problem of distance relay due to arc resistance, we actually go for, okay, one more relay called as reactance relay. So these are the things which should have touched in first chapter, but in first chapter we have seen the equations and its characteristics, and I wanted to touch all those these aspects in this chapter. So anyhow it was there in this chapter, so we did not go in detail there, and it was an introduction because we wanted to learn many types of relays which we have already gone in maybe in a switchgear subject also. Yes, so due to arcing, that is arc resistance problem, we are overcoming that problem is there in this impedance relay. So we are overcoming it with using a reactance relay, where in reactance we are taking the reactance characteristic like this. So only reactance is there is no resistance. Since there is no resistance, it doesn't affect this arc resistance, doesn't affect the reactance relay, and we are going to overcome this power swing and this directional feature, okay, by using one more relay called as Moore relay, MHO, Moore relay, and that also we are going to see now. Now actually before going to the Moore relay and reactance relay, we'll actually try to know the things, something about induction disk type or distance relay. So some things we need to revise and discuss here at this point. So you know already the construction of induction disk type, we have done it in first chapter, correct? Now how distance relay is different than overcurrent relay? See, there in first chapter we discussed disk type relay with respect to overcurrent relay. So there it was only with respect to I square, but here we have two things here. So we have something called as speed of spindle, correct? Yes, spindle is the spring, you remember it, right? Induction type disk type relay, okay, there was a spindle, so speed of that was proportional to current square. Okay, now here in distance relay, this was for overcurrent relay. Now in distance relay we have added one more element, because of which we have got a Z, correct, V by I. So this was overcurrent relay, for that we have added one more quantity, that is V. See, it is a restraining force. Okay, so restraining force, okay, that is there. And now the speed, if speed is more, time taken is less. Okay, we'll come to this restraining force later, but we'll first finish this. So it is I square. Now the time of rotation, okay, give me a second. Okay, so the time taken to rotate by some angle, correct, the disk, okay, that theta is inversely proportional to the current, because more current, less time taken. Yes, see, theta is nothing but the time taken, the angle displacement is related to time here. And we also had seen this graph, right? So this was the main flux, okay, this we had seen in the first chapter, correct? So your EMF induced in the disc, okay, lags the flux by 90 degrees. So this is the main flux, okay, and its current used to still lag from the voltage, correct, and that was our phi, or we call it as alpha. Now because of this we had an equation, hope you remember, k phi 1 phi 2 sin alpha. Okay, now we want somehow this to be 90 degree. If this is 90 degree, our torque would remain k2 into I square. Okay, we had discussed these things. Okay, so I want you to remember those things. Now this theta okay, theta is required to operate, so that is proportional to v square, and time required to get this theta is proportional to this. So time is inversely proportional to current. More current, less time taken for the disc to rotate and make the contact. Okay, now this theta is required, I mean that is operating based on the voltage. So less the voltage, less the restraining force. Less the restraining force, when the voltage will be less, when there is a fault. When there is a fault, less voltage, less restraining force. See, voltage is the restraining force. When that is less, it will make a contact. Okay, that will also decide the theta. So by both of these points, above points, so what we can write is time of operation, okay, is proportional to, we can write it as v by I square, because v by I whole square, because this is v square, this is inverse of I square. So put together we can put it like this. So it is nothing but what? S ZR square. So since it is square, we will get something like this nature. So this is time and this is distance. So since it is square, okay, we will get something characteristics like this. Okay, this is what we actually need. This is an ideal, but in general we get something characteristics like this. So this is approximate, this is ideal, and this is approximate, or this is actual, and this is approximate. Why I am telling all this, we'll get to know shortly. Okay, these are the things which I am revising actually. So this distance relay actually is a combination of overcurrent element and the voltage restraint element. So overcurrent element consists of primary winding connected to CT. Yes, so I have not shown the diagram here, but hope you remember the diagram. Okay, induction type. Okay, so it is connected to CT what? Through plug setting. Yes, there was something called as plug setting, and secondary winding is connected in series with the lower magnet, and EMF was generated, okay, due to this transformer action. Yes, and also eddy current was produced. So hence therefore your torque was proportional to I square S. So torque was proportional to I square. So the spindle of the disc is connected to armature through spiral spring, correct? So there are two springs you might have observed. Okay, the spindle is connected to one more spring. With that restraining spring, it was making a contact with the, that moving contact was making the contact with the fixed contact. Okay, so that's all that I wanted to. Okay, there is a small continuation of this. Okay, so here what we have is, this is the distance. See, the main purpose of me doing this revision is this, and this is time of operation, correct? Time of operation, and this is what we have the characteristics right here. This is what is the ideal or actual characteristics. Okay, now but in reality we have approximate, because we won't get it exactly what we want. We will have something approximate characteristics or similar characteristics. Okay, this is actual. Fine. Now there is some minimum time, because your disc will pick up, needs some small amount of current. Okay, as I told earlier. Okay, it needs some pickup. So due to that you have some minimum time. Okay, that time is generally up to 0.2 seconds. Okay, now taking an example of a transmission line. See, till now what we did is, we have assumed that we can have the zone protection, means for a particular fixed length we can set the Z, correct? Now we don't want to do that. Now in actual transmission line protection, we don't want to do that. We don't want it to have a fixed Z. We want to have it a maximum Z as much as possible. Okay, a relay, its reach, let it be maximum as much as possible. Okay, so something like this. So this is our time of operation. Okay, and this is our distance. So the relay over here, okay, we'll call it as R1, okay, or RA, because it is at. Okay, now we have two quantities, one is CT and another is PT, and it is given to a relay and Z set, and that is given to the circuit breaker. Okay, we have this here also. Okay, so let me draw it. This is potential transformer, current transformer, and relay will have some Z set. We have seen it, correct? But here Z is, the set is, okay, it is to reach maximum length. Okay, the reach is we are trying to reach maximum length. That is the idea. Now this RA, this is RB, and this is RC. Okay, this RA, based on this characteristics, okay, it will have something like this. Okay, let me choose some different color. Do you think, can it have something like this? Okay, let me draw it a bit differently. So that I can draw properly. So this RA is assumed to be something like this. So let us assume that it is reaching up to here. So this is the transmission line. Okay, means we are not trying to have a zone protection. Okay, means it is we are trying to have a zone protection, of course, but it is not limited to this length. We are trying to extend its impedance, and we know that we can set the impedance Z. So by having the tap ratio and voltage tap ratio, we can have V by I. We can actually have V by I. If V by I is in our hand, we can have actually Z with respect to that relay. Relay means what? Induction type relay. Now this is related to R1 or sorry RA, and with respect to RB, okay, do you agree with me that it will start somewhere, okay, here, and it will also have the same characteristics, of course, okay. And for RC, okay, let me take some other color. Do you agree that it will have this characteristics? Okay, so this is RC and this is RB. Okay, this is RB. Okay, now what do you understand by this diagram? Okay, what do you understand by this diagram? So RC, if there is a, suppose let me assume that there is a fault here. Okay, there is a fault here. If there is a fault, which relay will operate first? Of course, this is having minimum time. Okay, so this relay will operate first. And if this relay operates to fail, I mean fails to operate, if this relay fails to operate, which next relay will operate? Because it is the next minimum time, so this relay will operate. Even if this relay fails, what will happen? This relay anyhow it has the reach and this relay will operate. So inherently we are trying to implement this, okay, this delay. Okay, so this is what we call it as backup protection. So this is our primary protection for this fault, then this is our primary protection, this will become our backup protection. So if there is a fault here, which relay will operate? Obviously this, correct? If there is a fault here, RB relay will operate, and if this fails to operate for some, due to some maloperation in this relay, then after some time, because this is the time, after some time lapse, this will certainly protect it. So this is what is backup protection, and this is what we want. Okay, and now let us see further. Now we shall see reactance relay. Okay, so since we have already seen this in the first chapter, we will see a bit more in detail here, because understanding of reactance relay is important for this chapter. So this torque, universal torque equation is what we have already seen many times. Now as we did it in distance relay, here we want directional, okay, aspect also. So to make that, we make this K2 as 0, okay, and K1 positive, because this is our operating, okay, this is our operating parameter, okay, operating force. So this is our restraining, this we want our restraining force, that's why we have made it negative. So K3 and K4 is the spring constant, we already know it, or it's a gravity, and gravity in case of beam, okay, beam type relay, just now what we have seen. And so we want this and this to be negative because they are restrained, and this is operating force, so we want it to be positive, and we don't want this element, so we have made it K2 equal to 0. We don't want it to be a voltage dependent. Now that when we substitute K1 positive, K2 0, and K3 and K4 negative, we get this as negative and this as negative. So there is no second term, which is V square, so that is absent. Now we want it to be a directional restraint over current relay. So to have positive torque, positive, when it will be positive? When this is greater than this. Okay, yes, fine. So that case we have here, it is same as how we have analyzed the distance relay, sorry, that is impedance relay. Now since this should be greater for T to be positive, so we have taken it, okay, or okay, or the other way, that this should be less than this. So we have simply brought this on the other side, and we have written this first and this, then this later. Now what we do is we divide, okay, we divide here or sorry, multiply, we multiply 1 divided by k3 IR square. Okay, what we do is we multiply, okay, multiply 1 divided by k3 IR square. So if you multiply this, k3 and k3 cancels, so IR and IR cancels, one IR remain in the denominator, this VR as it is, this as it is, and here k1 by k3 as it is, IR square get cancels, and k4 divided by k3 into IR square. So we have multiplied this throughout the equation, and again since denominator is IR square, so the current will be too high when compared to this small spring constant. So this term is negligible because denominator is too high. Once denominator is too high, this whole term can be neglected. Once it is neglected, this term remains. That term we have written here. Okay, now VR by R is nothing but ZR. Yes, so this as it is, this also as it is. Now let us take that, see, we are considering that tau is 90 degree, that is whatever we are making this relay to operate at tau, okay, at 90 degree. So tau is nothing but the flux which we are trying to create here, it is exactly 90 degree. Okay, if that is the case, if tau, if we substitute 90 degree, if we substitute here, this becomes ZR cos theta minus 90 degree less than k1 by k3. So this equation is written here. This implies that, so cos theta minus 90 is nothing but sin theta. Okay, and this term as it is, ZR as it is. Now this represents what? An impedance triangle, correct? This represent ZR. ZR is what? ZR is this. Okay, so RR plus JXR is ZR, correct? Now this is the angle theta. So this is your impedance of the line. Okay, now what is sin theta from this equation? What is sin theta from this diagram? It is nothing but, okay, XR by, tell me, opposite by adjacent, which is ZR. So if we substitute this here in this equation, okay, so ZR into sin theta k1 by k3, if we substitute sin theta here, ZR cancels, so it becomes XR less than, okay, we can call it as X set. So this is again constant, just like Z set what we did there. So here at the end, what we are getting, what is remaining here, it is purely dependent only on reactance, nothing else. So we have made a line parallel to the, okay, by having tau equal to 90 degree, we have made the line parallel to real axis, that is, okay, this is that, this, so this is our distance, which is resistance, and this is reactance. Okay, so below this it operates, for all this below this it operates. So what is this now? Okay, X set. Yes, see, XR, if it is less than X set, means, see, X lesser than whatever is the line, because it is purely X now, there is no R element. If there is no R element, R is 0, R is 0, only X is there, so it is just like a DC offset. So that line is this, so below this it will operate. So this region it will operate, this region also operate, of course here also it will operate, and here it does not operate. So this is restraint. Okay, so above this line do not operate, below this line this operates. So this is the problem actually. So one of the drawback is it operates even in the opposite direction, just like the way it had, you did it for what, in impedance relay you saw that it was also operating in opposite direction. So this is also operating in opposite direction. So how to overcome this problem? we'll see actually it in next class. So this class video is almost more than 45 minutes, so I'm stopping it here. Now let me continue this in next class.